I will be recording class. When you watch this, why is this up? When you watch this, it'll only show what I write and won't show all the tools, so it'll be cleaner. I'll upload it to YouTube, so if you can access YouTube at home, you can access the day's lesson. I'll be posting all the lessons in Schoology, but I'm going to be posting a lot of our stuff on a class website. That's my solution, my workaround with a lot of the Schoology issues. A lot of the issues that are going on with the district is I just went outside the district. So we'll just post a lot of this on a external website so you guys can access it on an external website, but you're still going to need some kind of device at home that's connected to the internet. Does that make sense? All right. So at least that's my hope, is that we'll be able to work it around that way. So it's important that that we communicate with each other, and the YouTube channel, and look at, I'm going to go ahead and a lot of people like to make sure that everything's neat, but you don't have to do that. You can draw a wiggly line on your regular loose leaf paper, about 1/3, notice about 1/3 of the way from the left-hand side. Why do we do that? So that you can write down main ideas here. And one of the main ideas here are communication between teacher and student. Like, we have to be able to communicate. And one of the ways that we're going to communicate, a big one, you should be writing this down. I see people not writing. I handed you this paper. This is what you're writing on. If it's already written on here, then you don't have to write it. It's called an outline. This is an example that I've done for you. So these are guided notes. So I expect next time we take notes, once we're done with this, you're doing it on your own because you have seen how to do it. I'm showing you one. I want you to do one, then I want you to teach one. Yeah. Get up and get one. Next time when things are getting passed out, say it when it happens. It's up in front next to the calendar. Yeah. Write it right next to what we're talking about. We're talking about communication. You find it. You follow along. Yes. Huh? Get up and get one. I know there was a lot happening. It's not all your fault, but we have to manage this. All right, communication. It's important for us to communicate. And so what you have to know is this email, time01stir@gmail.com. You also have my Manuel.Mendoza, so that's fine for communicating email. But this is connected to the Manuel Mendoza. These are connected to YouTube. And so when you're looking for the YouTube channel for this class, you're really going to be looking for this or this, right? And you'll find it if you forget it. I'll send you links to videos and such, but you'll find all the videos for the last 10 years, or 12, I think more like 15 years worth of YouTube videos. Some are horrible, some are boring. I collect all the day's notes, all the week's notes. I'll post them all in one giant video with chapters, dividing it up. So when you're looking at YouTube, you're looking at the YouTube channel, you see an hour-long video. You don't have to watch the whole video. There's this thing called fast forward and rewind and chapters. Right? It's an hour long, but you were in class. Maybe you just missed one thing. Don't watch the entire hour to find one thing. Just find what you need and go on. So that's your communication. So one of the other things we have to talk about are these ideas of categories. And I've talked about it already last week. But categories, the issue with categories is, could you do me a favor and turn half the lights off? That people don't understand when they're looking at they're looking at their grades, they don't understand that, gee, I got 1,000 homework points. Look at all I did, all the homework. It's 1,000 points. And I failed one test that's worth 100 points, and somehow now my grade comes down 2 letter grades? That doesn't make sense, Mr. Mose. You're cheating. Well, no. What it is that this is divided into wedges, and when you have 1,000 points, when you take the classwork, let's say classwork, and you can look at your syllabus to figure out how much, what percentage, I'm not going to get into all that. And there's 1,000 points in classwork, maybe 10 assignments or 100 points each or whatever. And there's only one test. And this category is known as assessments. And that one test is worth 100 points. Which one's worth more? The test, because it's still worth this whole wedge. This whole wedge is assessments, and it's only 100 points. This whole circle is your grade. Of your grade, assessments takes up this whole wedge. All the classwork takes up this wedge. All the projects take up this wedge, etc. All the notebook takes up that wedge. So the more assessment, they're all pretty much equal. Assessments, I think, is the most, is say 30%. Your notebook, I think, is second most, is 25%. So it's important that you're taking up these, you have to consider the 4 categories when you're looking at your grades. We can talk more about that later, but that's going to be key. All right. So there is a difference between excused absence being turned in late versus just turning things in late. Turning things in late, I'm not going to get into it. Look at your syllabus. There's minus points for turning things in late. If you want to resubmit something that you don't like the grade you got on, I encourage you to do so after you've done remediation with me. So come and see me. Say, Mr. Mendoza, can I see you? Fill in the blank. We have to meet up. We have to find where our schedules overlap. And we can meet Thursday, like I said, Thursday or Friday in the morning. We can meet after school most days. We can meet not Tuesday after school because I have meetings all Tuesday after school. We can meet Thursday, Friday in the morning from 8 to 8:40. I'm here. We can meet any of these times. We can meet virtually on the weekend if you want to. We can set up a Zoom meeting if you need more one-on-one tutoring. But again, we have to schedule because I do have a life, okay? I don't mind talking to you for an hour about how to do a particular project or whatever if you need help. We have to Zoom meet because I'm not going over your house. All right. Let's see. All right, so you have to go to mediation. Now at the bottom, you see on the left where all the main ideas, see how I wrote them? All the main ideas. There's also where I might write questions about what's going on. It's another good thing to write there. And then I summarized at the bottom. Somebody want to read what it says at the bottom? I summarized. You need to summarize your notes. Go ahead.
These are procedures that I must follow to make sure I can get the best grade possible. I have the opportunity to resubmit work and turn work in late, but there are consequences for each decision. The best thing I could do is ...
What is the best thing that I could do? Turn things in on time. Do everything on time. And then if I don't do well, I can redo it. Because you're allowed to redo stuff in this class. Except I'm even would allow you to redo a test if we have time. I have to turn in grades. There's a deadline. You have to do remediation before you retake that test. So don't paint yourself in a corner and then not be able to improve your grade because you were depending on something that doesn't make any sense. So you have to make your goals realistic and they have to be time sensitive. All right. This is the format. This is just the format for Cornell Notes. There is, flip the page over, the basic idea. By the way, you should put your name on the top of each page. Full name. Not Richie, not Snooky, not Butterfly. Just put your full name. So there's a lot of research. I used to try to convince students by going through all the research that backs what I'm saying. I'm not going to go through that anymore. I don't have time. I wish we did. It's really interesting. This has been done. This research has been done across thousands of students over decades of work, and I can tell you that based on this fundamental way, the way your brain works, we know that if you record, just record. What do I mean by record? That's right. Write it down. Just by writing things down, you improve by 20%. 20% improvement just by writing it down. If all you did was listen and write it down, you'd score a 20 on a test. That's great, right? 20% on a test? No, not great. But as 20% of your goal is just by listening and writing it down. But that if you didn't write it down, if you listened and didn't write it down, but then when you wrote it down and increased it by 20%, so if you would have got if you got, let's say, a 50% on the test, had you written it down, maybe you would have got 60, 70, depending on what you had originally, right? So that's a really good thing. So writing it down is important, but it's not just writing it down. Obviously, it has to be done in an orderly fashion, because I can't tell you how many kids have written stuff down. They have it written down. I ask them to find it. They can't find it. That's like having $1 million but then losing it. It's not very useful. I have a treasure somewhere. I know it's here somewhere. Hold on, Mr. Mortgage Man. I'll get it for you. It's not going to work, right? So you got to record it. It has to be organized. What do you record? What do you take notes on? Can anybody read that diagram and tell me what do you take notes on? Class, right? Class lessons.
Discussions.
Any discussions we have? If you go to tutoring, again, you could go to tutoring with me. And what else? Activities, study groups. Doing all these things on their own is fantastic. Writing down what goes on during those meetings is even more important. That 20% just keeps haunting me. Don't let it haunt you. Don't miss your A by 5% and wonder to yourself, if I would have wrote it down, would I have gotten the A? It's just haunting. So just write it down. It's easy to do. Physically, on paper. Oh, there's one thing nobody ever writes down. Nobody ever takes, you will. Nobody ever takes notes on what? What's the one thing nobody ever takes notes on that they should record?
Videos.
Oh, videos is good. Yeah, the people don't on videos either, which really sucks because there's a lot of good information on videos. But what else? One other thing, yeah. You can't read what? Well, I'm saying it too, so maybe you should write down when I say it. You can't read which part of this can't you write? You can't see that says video? Can you see where this says video? Oh, you can't see visually, you can't see it. Okay. You can sit over here, right next to it. Go and grab a chair. There's a chair right over there for it, Cherry, so you don't have to sit up. That's what you mean. You can't actually see the board. Well, sit right out there. Don't get in front of the screen, but sit right next to it. Very good. Thank you for letting me know. I thought you meant you couldn't read my handwriting. So yeah, that chair's fine. What's the other thing that people don't take notes on? The book. People read books all the time. People say that word study. I studied, meaning they read the book. Did they look at the picture, at the drawings, the illustrations? Did they read the little captions under the illustration? Did they make connections between the illustration and what was going on in class? Did they think about what is this book saying? And how does it fit with what Mr. Mendoza said? Or what my professor said? Does it all fit how does it all fit together? Because that's really key, is how it all fits together. That's really what you'll be tested on. And I want to mention again, because you mentioned not being able to see, and I'm glad you said something early, because I would hate for you to go through the whole period and not be able to see. But I will be posting this on YouTube, and on YouTube you'll see, you can bring it right up to your eyes. Okay?
I couldn't see.
Yeah. Hey, goodbye. Nobody likes you. I apologize. All right, 6 heart. And we're just joking. For the record, I recorded that. I'm just joking. He and I go back for a minute, so we're just joking. All right. So you record. That's all great. But one of the things you have to do is reduce, because by reducing, you're taking all that information and you're breaking it down to something that you can memorize. Sometimes you can't memorize it all, guys. You just can't. It's ridiculous. You have a whole chapter. You're not going to sit down and memorize the whole chapter. When I ask people to take notes on a chapter, what kids will do is they'll copy the chapter. I've had kids do this, coming crying with their parents. You told them to take notes on a chapter, and she's been working for 3 hours. And look, they bring out, I don't mean to laugh, but bring out pages of notes where they literally copied what was in the book. No, that's not notes. Reducing, finding what's important. That's the hard part. Sounds easy, but it's not. What's important here, and what it comes down to is how does it all fit together? Yeah.
That's in that 54, right?
Is it over? Yeah. Oh man, I want to mention that this is the problem. We have to start right away. Hold on, let me double check that that's true. Let me check on my handy dandy schedule. I love that I'm prepared, even though the rest of the world is not. Class is over. Could you all bring me your handouts here, your cards, and put them here. Please start reading chapter 1. I will be emailing you. If you get behind, we'll talk. Don't panic. If you don't have access to technology, hopefully they'll have it fixed. I need those names of all those students. Make sure you put these in your binder. If you don't have a binder, get one soon. And a 3-ring, just so you know, that's not a binder. I just didn't want you to, that's fine for now, but just so you know. If you're having trouble getting that binder, let me know. Give me a second. Those notes, we're going to continue them. Don't throw those away. Sorry, it sounds logical. What? Your base, what do you mean by that? I don't know. I just want the website turned in. I want to see that you're doing it. Once you submit the link, I'll be able to look at how you change it over time. So you don't have to resubmit it. Once you submit it once, could you give me that placard someone left there? Watch my iPad. Don't knock anything down. You can, or we could just check it off when we have a chance. Just come and show it to me, and I'll just check it off. You don't have to scan anything. You don't have that if you have a phone. Okay? But the best thing is if you have a phone, because it makes it easier on you and me. But we can sit down and we can just check it off. Okay? So you don't have to stress your mom out either. Yeah. What thing? I'm going to post that. Oh, did I stop recording yet? So I will post this whole thing, and then you can catch up with whatever it was that you missed. Oh, the email. You want the email. Yes, you can't access it. I'll tell you what, I'll remind me, send me a message in either Jupiter or Schoology, and I will send you a copy. Who's gave me this?
Copy it, it's me.
You don't? No.
Oh, I forgot to write my name.
No, I don't want it.
Oh,
That's not how it's done. You're not listening.
I came in late.
I know.
I'll
So-
look at
But not now, because you have class. But yes. All right. And yeah, if I don't have one, I'll make one for you. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Could you give me these other yellow placards, please, before you go? Which class do you want to drop? Some people can't drop. Go to Miss Dalvin, the guidance counselor. Next door, right down on the right-hand side. Kids, I don't know their